Action 7 News live at 10. Coverage you can count on.
A prison can force feed a cult leader to keep him alive. Good evening, I'm Doug Fernandez.
I'm Shelly Ribando. A judge decided Wayne Bent's fate during a hearing that lasted well into the night. And Action 7 News reporter Chris Ramirez was there as the case took a series of twists and turns. Chris.
Shelly, that's right. That hearing lasted 3 hours, and the judge in the case said that on all of his years on the bench, this was one of the more unique cases that he's had to make a ruling on. The judge essentially had to make a decision where Wayne Bent's health was weighed up against his religious rights. For the first time in 3 days, Wayne Bent took a drink. His cult followers, many who were in court today, brought him orange juice, water, and an energy drink. Bent said he would take food and drinks, but only if his spiritual family provided it. In a wheelchair, Bent appeared very thin and frail, but he was strong enough to take the stand.
I'm not committing suicide. I have no death wish. I just don't want to throw an offering to the image that convicted me on the grounds that it did.
Bent says he is not taking foods or drinks from his prison because it is part of an institution that wrongly convicted him of a sex crime in December 2008. Bent maintains he was healing a naked girl, not engaging in a sexual activity with her. The prison's attorney argued prison staff must have the authority to force-feed Bent if his life depends on it. In an interview his son Jeff Bent gave me last night, he said this.
I'd rather my father died than to have his body invaded by people poking tubes and hoses into him against his will.
Allowing Wayne Bent to die in prison is something Judge John Pope was not going to allow. He ruled, if necessary, prison medical staff could intervene with artificial nutrition and hydration.
Well, this is what I expected from the state, because the state's always going to defend its interests.
Now, Wayne Bent's attorney also tried to get the judge to allow Bent's followers to prepare food and then take it to him daily. The judge said no. He said that would create chaos and that the prison guards would turn into food inspectors, and he just was not going to have that happen in the New Mexico prison systems. We're live in Los Lunas. Chris Ramirez, KOAT Action 7 News.
Wayne Bent didn't say whether he would end his hunger strike after hearing the judge's ruling. He is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence.
New at 10, a dangerous trend in Valencia County is starting to turn around. The number of home burglaries, which was as high as 25 a day, is starting to drop. The sheriff credits recent arrests. Since then, deputies have seized thousands of dollars worth of stolen goods inside suspects' homes. They believe it's part of a huge burglary ring. APS Superintendent Winston Brooks will not give the former La Cueva baseball coach his job back. Stan McKeever was fired after being accused of hiring strippers for his players. Brooks upheld the recommendation of a disciplinary committee after an initial appeal by the coach's attorneys. But McKeever can still file another appeal.
Balloon Fiesta is about a week away, but instead of getting excited, many balloon pilots were getting angry today because of one decision made by city leaders. Action 7 News reporter Natalie Swaby is live now at Balloon Fiesta Park to explain.
Well, it's a controversy that had balloon pilots, some from as far away as Italy and England, all fired up today. That's because they found out they wouldn't be able to barbecue at Balloon Fiesta, and that was enough to have them fighting back.
We just haven't loaded it all yet.
It's a party Dale Ruth starts planning weeks in advance.
You have a designated food trailer.
Yes.
This balloon pilot does not mind hauling the extra equipment.
We take out our soft serve ice cream machine, pretzel machine, pizza oven, nacho cheese dispenser, chili cheese dispenser, hot dog machine. It's all for fun. We enjoy the company and the camaraderie of other pilots and good friends. Make more friends every year.
But at a Tuesday night meeting for Balloon Fiesta pilots, some say it was a bombshell. The Albuquerque Fire Marshal said no grilling allowed on Balloon Fiesta Field.
Quite disturbed. Some people said some things that shouldn't be repeated.
But the fire department claims no grilling is nothing new.
It's been a standing policy for the last 5 years that I know of.
If it's been a rule, nobody's known about it. We've always had tailgates. We've always grilled.
Pilot Al Lowenstein says as soon as the news broke, blogs went wild.
Hell no, we won't glow.
No glodio for the guest if there's no tailgating for balloonists. Some pilots were thinking about it until the fire department reconsidered.
With all the concerns today, we did look at the issue, revisit the issue.
So here's the compromise. As long as balloonists
keep their grills 15 feet away from their propane tanks, then the tailgates are a go.
Good compromise. My feeling is I don't want grease on my trailer anyway.
That's good news. That's good news. Ballooning's more than just flying. It's making friends and tailgating and telling stories.
And again, many of the pilots heard about this last night. By this morning, the emails and phone calls began to flood into the city. And by about 3 o'clock today, the city did decide that they would make that compromise. Live near Balloon Fiesta Park, Natalie Swaby, KOAT, Action 7 News.
All right, Natalie, thank you. And we found out this week about 550 balloons are registered for this year's event. That's down about 50 balloons from last year. But RV reservations are up at the park. And more people have reserved those pricey gondola club passes for the big weekend events. They kick off on October 3rd, and we'll have live coverage of the mass ascensions on all the weekend mornings of Balloon Fiesta. APS gives specific steps to parents and faculty to protect themselves against the H1N1 virus. District leaders say they're prepared to start screening students and staff for symptoms when people arrive at school if the virus starts to spread out of control. They could also increase the space between students by moving desks farther apart and postponing class trips.
At this time, we're not going to be closing any schools unless we have so many people out that we're not able to provide services at that school.
APS says there have been a couple of dozen mild cases of H1N1 in the district so far.
No criminal charges will be filed in connection with the shootout that killed a lawman. Sergeant Joe Harris died in a struggle with a wanted serial burglar, Joseph Henry Burgess, during a stakeout in the Jemez Mountains over the summer. Teresa Moriarty, with Harris's partner at the time, was the only one who survived. The final police report showed she was involved in some missteps during the operation.
We've looked at all the physical evidence and the testimony that was given by the person that was left over from that fateful morning, and we have found no evidence of any violation of law.
The DA says the case is closed unless new information or evidence surfaces. Our partners at the Albuquerque Journal have uncovered more details about the case in tomorrow's paper. They talked to Moriarty's lawyer, who says she isn't doing very well, and it's debatable whether she will ever return to her job. They also learned that the sheriff's internal investigation of the operation found no violations of policy or procedure. To read more, pick up a copy of tomorrow's Albuquerque Journal.
Albuquerque police file an attempted murder charge against a man an officer shot in the face. Dennis Chavez appeared in court today with a bandage over his bullet wound. Police say he tried to steal a car near the state fairgrounds yesterday. When officers ran after him, they say he pulled out a gun and started shooting at them. No officers were hit, but Chavez was wounded. His bond is set at $100,000. The jury in the Carlos Fierro vehicular homicide case gets a first-hand look at the night of the crime.
They saw video of Fierro and heard exactly what the suspect had to say after the deadly crash. Action 7 News reporter Dave Roberts has more from the courtroom.
On this police dash cam video, Carlos Fierro tries to hold his balance, but stumbles all over the road during a field sobriety test. Police say he also tried to beat a breathalyzer by holding his breath.
And the machine was actually giving me a reading saying no go, which indicates that it's not getting any breath.
Police and prosecutors say Fierro ran over and killed William Tenorio in front of Willie's bar after a night of drinking, then sped off last November. He was stopped minutes later by police.
When I approached the vehicle, I could smell an odor of intoxicating liquor emitting from the vehicle.
According to testimony, Fierro's night of drinking started early at the Rio Chama restaurant, where he and a friend bought more than $100 worth of drinks. The DA also played an audio recording from Fierro where he told police he was drinking that night and thought someone threw a rock at his car.
I saw some people, I don't know if they were like a knee or they were like a boom, they were screaming one night, and then I heard the window just go shh. I assumed automatically that somebody just hit the car.
Prosecutors are expected to rest their case Thursday. In Santa Fe, Dave Roberts, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Earlier today, the judge threw out a defense request to dismiss the case, claiming prosecutors unfairly used a federal database to screen jurors. And we've learned that Fierro and another suspect involved in a deadly DWI crash still have their driver's licenses. Police never gave Fierro a notice that his license would be revoked, and neither did deputies who arrested Scott Owens. That's not Scott Owens, an accused drunk driver who crashed into a car full of teenagers. Now, the sheriff and police chief say vehicular homicide cases like the ones involving Fierro and Owens are different. They train officers not to issue DWI citations because they fear suspects can argue double jeopardy during a vehicular homicide trial. Law enforcement, MVD, and the DA's office say they are all willing to meet to discuss the issue.
Project Economy begins with almost $1 million going to improve border security. New Mexico Tech will use the money to provide technical training to state, local, and tribal law enforcement. The program will target law enforcement in Roswell, Las Cruces, and Silver City because authorities say they're the most at risk for border crime and drug trafficking. Governor Richardson and lawmakers say they are making progress in budget talks, but they're still divided on one main issue, education. They met today to try and come up with a plan on closing the $400 million deficit. The governor still says public education should not see any cuts, and lawmakers don't think that's possible. They're hoping to come up with a solid plan before meeting at a special session next month.
You see all sorts of things when you go to the state fair.
And you can find plenty of stuff that claims to make you feel better.
So what diseases did you use to treat it with?
I'm sorry?
What diseases did you use to treat this with?
Well, we're not treating disease. We're working on MESL.
Diabetes. Up next, new at 10, we send our own Dr. Barry Ramo out to try a few products himself.
And we have a bit of rain and snow working throughout the north end of the state. Unseasonably cool weather. The days are numbered. A big turnaround right around the corner. I'll show you that in my First Alert forecast.
New tomorrow morning on the Health Beat, we continue our series on mindful meditation and how this new medicine helps avoid burnout. And Duke City Teen Center opens to the public for the first time.
It's still cold, but the heat's returning. Coverage you can count on starts at 5 a.m.
All new, from the projects to hip-hop mogul, Jay-Z.
Start the beat over.
Then,
is this bigger than what you imagine?
living legend Barbara Streisand, tomorrow's Oprah.
On KOAT-7.
You deserve a great night's sleep. With the largest selection of the best brands in sleep, you'll find the right mattress at the right price.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
They were the most popular girls in school.
She was top dog. She could have been a model.
She was an outcast who somehow became their best friend. A wannabe, now hanging with the queen bees. So what happened that turned their friendship deadly?
I was so scared.
2020 Friday.
12 years. Some good, some bad. Just time to turn the page. Richard Berry for mayor. Husband, father, successful businessman. Called impeccably honest.
I'm a common sense guy. I won't spend $300 million on a trolley car.
Tough on crime. He'll end the sanctuary city policy for criminals. Richard Berry.
We built our business with hard work, honesty, and a can-do attitude. I'll do the same for you at City Hall.
Paid for by Berry for mayor.
This week is J. Edwards Diamonds' annual 60/60 clearance event. Now through Saturday, we're offering discounts on everything up to 60% off. This includes all diamonds, all bridal jewelry, and all fashion jewelry discounted as much as 60% off. Nothing is held back. And for this special event, we're offering 60 months financing, no minimum purchase, no down payment, and no payments for the first year. This fantastic clearance event ends Saturday, so don't miss it.
During our year-end closeout, we're marking down every new 2009 Mitsubishi to make room for our new 2010 Mitsubishis. That's right, every 09 Mitsubishi is marked to go, including Outlander, Endeavor, Eclipse, and Galant. And during our year-end closeout, the savings are huge. Get a Lancer that starts as low as $13,995, or get an Outlander with payments as low as $287 per month with zero cash down.
For your next car, a new Mitsubishi is the answer. Here at Mark's Casa Mitsubishi on the west side.
You deserve a great night's sleep tonight. Mattress Firm's same-day red carpet delivery service will have you sleeping better tonight.